Yes, unfortunately, prior to Fallon's death, the intersection was identified as a high crash corridor by the city of Portland. It was an intersection that the surrounding neighborhood was actually advocating for improvement for, I believe, a number of years before the crash, because there had been other people who had been hit or near misses at that exact location. So it was a problematic high crash corridor before Fallon had been hit.
And how fast was the driver going?
At the very minimum, 55 miles an hour, but I've heard estimates up into the 70 miles per hour. So,
goodness gracious.
Yeah, down the center lane of traffic. So, and just for a little bit of context, that neighborhood is a walking shopping district. So there's a lot of children, a lot of spectrum of ages walking and shopping and bicycling, and it's surrounded by a residential district. So to have somebody driving freeway speeds down the center lane of traffic in a walking neighborhood is it's actually quite unbelievable still.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And at the time, Fallon was 15. Was it still in the summer? It was before school was going to start?
Yes, it was in the summer. I think about maybe a week or a week and a half before school was about to start. She was about to start her sophomore year of high school. Yep.
And what was she like?
Fallon was selfless. I mean, she was somebody who made you want to be a better person yourself, because she was imaginative and empathetic. She was intelligent. She really cared about other people. She wanted to be a peer advocate for her peers in high school. She wanted to be a teacher. Like, she had the intelligence to do anything, but she wanted to be a teacher because she wanted to help other kids once she became an adult. Yeah.
This young Mr. Nora, tell me what it was like when you found out that he had fled.
I think in the beginning I was very shocked. I didn't really know what the implications of that would be. I felt like at the time before he fled, we were very close as a family to getting closure and having confidence that our legal system was going to work, in the way of justice. And then it was like being re-traumatized all over again when he fled. It really removes all of the confidences and your social norms of what to expect. And so, it really just ripped all of the trauma and wounds back open. And that's just something that me and my family have to live with day to day, because there's never really been any closure.
Did he have? It's sort of a tricky thing, but who do you hold responsible for him being able to flee, if anyone?
Who do I hold responsible? Whoever helped him out of the country, obviously. Whoever was driving that black SUV and had the resources to fly him out of the country, even though he didn't have his passport. I think that there's few people with that much resources, but yeah.
Should he ever been? I mean, $1 million is a very high bail to set. But should he ever have been out on bail?
No, he never should have been out on bail. And we advocated very strongly for him not to be released on bail. He was a very obvious flight risk. He had no ties here in the United States. He had no motivation to stay. And that was made quite explicit by our family and by our lawyer and by the police officer who was responsible for overseeing his I forget what it's called, overgoing his supervision. So I think everybody knew at the time that he was a huge flight risk.
How does it feel to, you know where he is. The Saudi government has informed the U.S. that he is on Saudi soil and that they don't plan to send him back. There's no extradition treaty between the two countries. Where's the justice in that?
There's no justice. There isn't any. And honestly, my daughter deserved better. She deserved at least for him to go in front of a jury, a group of peers, and at least have a group of peers make a decision. That would have been justice for me, is just to see that the law and the courts and our peer, our group of peers jury system was at least used. That would have felt like justice, but we never got that. And my daughter was just a girl still in a lot of ways, and she died a very violent death, and she at least deserved a legal system that put her killer in front of a jury of peers. That would have felt like justice, and it didn't happen.
Did it surprise you to learn that there were other similar cases where Saudi students had fled before they had their day in court?
Yeah, I think it was surprising. It obviously shows a pattern, and that's honestly really quite terrifying that now there is a pattern of convicted, or not convicted, but accused people accused of very violent crimes being swept out of the country before ever even seeing trial or paying for the crimes that they have been found to commit. I think it's very surprising and very unsettling.